What's up everyone, Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. We're doing another head-to-head video comparing two flashlights today. We've got the Thrunite 1A V2 and we're going to be putting it up against the Fenix E12. I got both these lights from Thrunite to do this head-to-head comparison, and what we'll do is we'll talk about some of the specs here in the studio, and then I'm going to head out. If you saw my other video of the Thrunite TI5, I basically set up the camera and drove off 1/10 of a mile and 2/10 of a mile, and then shine the light back on the different settings so you could see, how well can you actually signal with a light like that at a distance. People seem to like that concept, so what we're going to do is do it at even a further distance, so maybe 3/10, 4/10, even half a mile, and we'll shine these two lights back toward the camera to see, hey, what can you see? Would it be good for getting somebody's attention to let to let them know, hey, I'm off the road, be careful as you come by because I'm dealing with car trouble or something like that. So we'll be really testing how far away can you see these lights effectively. In the meantime, we're going to again look at some of the details here in the studio. Your price point is going to be around $35 for the Thrunite, and for the Fenix you're talking about $28. So a little bit more for the Thrunite. And now let's talk through what you get with them, and then let's head outside. Okay, let's talk through the specs on the Thrunite Archer 1A V2. First of all, here's your little instruction manual. Very basic, but I'm always, impressed is probably too strong a phrase, but I always like to get these from Thrunite because they give you enough information but don't drown you in a ton of extra info. So this thing is going to run off one AA battery, so very common battery. The operation is relatively simple. You got your end cap switch, and then you have your mode selector. So you're going to click the end cap switch to turn it on, and then you're going to select through your different modes using this button. And then if you hold it down, it's going to go into strobe and then back off that way. A couple cool features. You do have a little bit of an aggressive bezel here, so just be aware of that as you're using the light. I wouldn't call it for huge self-defense purposes, but you can certainly it's got a little bit more aggressive bezel than the Fenix does. Your clip, this sits quite deep, not super deep. You'd have, again, this much sticking out of the light, but I've got other lights that do stick out even further. The thing I like about this clip is that you can flip it around and put it on a baseball cap if you want to basically use this as a headlamp. It will stand on the end cap. Oh, I got the light on still. Let me turn that off. It will stand on the end cap. By the nature of the pressure switch on the end, you got to kind of find the right angle, so it's not super stable. I mean, there you go. That one works. That works there, but it does have a little bit of wobble. If that pressure switch was a little bit smaller, it would work a little better. These are flattened out on the end, so you don't have to worry about they're not rounded, so it won't stand in any way, shape, or form. As far as your details, it has a Cree XPL V6 LED, lifespan about 20 years. You've got a couple different setups. Your runtime for Firefly, which is 0.055 lumens, so 0.055 lumens, and that's 408 hours. Your low is 17 lumens, 22 hours. Your medium is 75 lumens, that's 5 hours. Your high is 180 lumens, that's 115 minutes. And then your strobe is also at 180 lumens, and that's 3.5 hours. It says that your max output is 180 lumens using one nickel metal hydride AA battery. You can use one AA battery or a 14500 battery as well. Okay, looking at the Fenix E12, first thing I'll tell you is that just by the nature of it's got no pocket clip, and it doesn't have any strong angles, right angles, or anything even like that. It's basically going to, roll a bit when you actually when you have the light on any surface that's got any kind of a little slope or slant. A couple things to let you know. First of all, your price point again around $27, $28. Runs on one AA battery. It's got three different settings. You have a low setting at 8 lumens. That's going to run for 40 hours. Your medium setting at 50 lumens, that's going to run for 6.5 hours, and then your high setting, which is 1 hour and 30 minutes. Uses a Cree E12 LED, and they say a lifespan of 50,000 hours. It says that it's a broad beam lens, and what they say on the website is that it provides a soft, even beam for close-up illumination, which, I like this size. You're not going to be shining off, deep into the woods to spot some sort of animal or something. Again, we're going to see how that works out at a distance. They say that it's for close-up illumination, but this is very similar in size to the Thrunite Archer 1A V2. So let's say, hey, you're going to EDC these lights. You get stuck in a situation where you need some light so people can see it at a distance. What will they think? Will they be able to see it? And we'll test that out. As far as what you get with it, you get a tiny little container here or a bag here that's got a lanyard in it, and then you get the Fenix warranty card, and then you do get the Fenix instructions, which come in a variety of different languages. So just to show you quickly here, and then on the back side as well. So it's going to give you everything that you need to know when it comes to operating the light. All right, so as I said in the last video, when I did this type of long distance test, don't worry, I'm not driving and shooting video at the same time, but I'm about to head out. You might be able to see, if you look at my car over there, it just snowed. So we may get some flurries during the test, we may not, we'll see how it goes, but I'm gonna head out, find a kind of a long distance stretch, see how far of a straightaway we can get, and then we'll test out to see which one of these lights gives us the best, basically the best light for signaling and letting people know that we may be up hypothetically in this situation on the side of the road, trying to fix a car, trying to deal with the situation. All right, here we go. Back here in the studio now and wrapping up our view on the Thrunite 1A V2 and the Fenix E12. So the head-to-head comparison between these two. As you saw, we kind of had a fail on the second test because that snow had fallen onto the camera and it was just kind of a dot. What I can tell you though is I'm learning a bunch of things as far as, I'm always using my flashlight for everyday carry purposes when it comes to, walking around in a parking lot or, walking around the house at night when it's dark, something like that. But as far as signaling goes, these are definitely both quite usable for that purpose. The strobe feature is going to get more attention with the Thrunite just because it's kind of like, it just grabs your eye. If you're driving down the road and you saw that off the side of the road, you definitely look and be like, hey, what the heck is that? But with the Fenix, the light is still putting out enough light and at a distance that you're going to see something and think, hey, what's going on there? So I would basically say for the purposes of long distance signaling at a half mile or 4/10 of a mile and half a mile, you could use either one of these. Now, the other thing to think about is once you're moving beyond just the, hey, let's get somebody's attention to, okay, say you're working on your car, you saw a car in the distance and you wanted to get their attention, you could shine the light down the road. The next thing is that question of, okay, once that car's gone by, you got to go back to working on your car. Do you have enough light out of both these lights to actually get around and, fix what you're trying to fix on your car, help somebody in the car, whatever it is. Again, the advantage of the Thrunite is you can clip it onto a hat. So boom, that's on the brim of your hat and you're good to go as far as being hands-free. The advantage of the Fenix is that it is smaller and lighter weight. So, this is something that you could keep in your pocket really easily. This one, it's a nice EDC flashlight, but for somebody who's never carried an EDC flashlight, this may feel a little bit big at first. So if you want to jump into it, maybe start out with something the size of the Fenix, or if you do like Thrunite, then like the TI3. I think it's the TI3. Yeah, TI3 or T3, I always get the numbers mixed up, but you could start off with something like that and then maybe move up to the Archer 1A V2. But signaling long distance, I would say both these guys did quite well. And then the major thing for me with the Fenix is that I really prefer a pocket clip. The lanyard's fine, but I just don't want this in my pocket. I like it clipped in my pocket so it's not moving all around. Whereas with the the Archer, you're definitely getting that ability. It's not going to move around. You have that nice pocket clip. And as I mentioned earlier, it does ride quite deep there, as you can see. Yeah, you only have, you know, a tiny bit of the bezel sticking out there. So both going to be good lights. Fenix makes a good light. Thrunite makes a good light. You're really talking about some of your main comparison points. Size, weight, price comparison. Fenix a little bit cheaper. And then your overall functionality. The Thrunite's going to give you more options. So that's what you want to weigh out when you actually think about maybe just a small EDC light that's also usable for signaling purposes. And I will tell you that because I'm not having to signal at long distances for in emergency situations all that often, right? I am learning that even with a very small light, if you have, you know, basically it's open as far as, you know, from the person who's looking at you to where you're located, if that's a long open stretch, even a very small light with not a lot of lumen output can still be picked up. You want to think about, you know, if you're going to be in the woods a lot and you're thinking of signaling somebody through the woods, man, you get a little bit of foliage, a little bit of tree coverage, and it's hard to signal. So the more power you have from a light shining out in that situation, the better it's going to be. So there you have it. There's your Thrunite 1A V2 up against the Fenix E12 and some things to consider. Thanks as always for checking out our videos. Please like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on all the relevant social media, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter as well. Take care.